One shot, one kill. That's what separated elite snipers from regular infantry. But here's what most people don't know. The difference between the best and worst sniper rifle in World War II wasn't just accuracy. It was whether you lived or died after taking that shot. Some rifles could reach out 1,000 yards with deadly precision. Others were barely modified infantry weapons handed to soldiers and called sniper rifles. By the end of this video, you'll know which rifle belonged in the hands of legends like Simo Häyhä and Vasily Zaitsev, and which ones got their operators killed. Let's start with the rifles that defined the Eastern Front, where the war's most prolific snipers operated. Mosin-Nagant 9130 with PE/PU scope, the Soviet legend. When you think World War II sniper, you probably picture a Soviet soldier with this rifle. And there's a reason for that. The Mosin-Nagant wasn't fancy, wasn't comfortable, and definitely wasn't modern by 1941 standards. But it worked. Soviet snipers used the 9130 variant, typically mounted with a PE scope early in the war, and the simpler PU scope later. These scopes were low-powered, just 3.5 times magnification. But that was actually an advantage. Why? Wider field of view meant you could acquire targets faster in close-range urban combat. Here's what made this rifle legendary. It was built for the Eastern Front. The Mosin functioned flawlessly in -40-degree temperatures when German rifles froze. The bolt was rough and required a strong hand, but it never jammed. Soviet snipers like Lyudmila Pavlichenko used this rifle to record 309 confirmed kills. The 7.62 by 54R cartridge it fired had excellent long-range performance, and Soviet snipers were trained to use it effectively out to 800 meters. But what really matters is this. When Vasily Zaitsev held off German advances at Stalingrad, he did it with a Mosin-Nagant. That's not just a rifle, that's a piece of history. Now, the Soviets had numbers and harsh conditions on their side, but the Germans, they approached sniping like a science, and their rifles reflected that obsession with precision. Mauser Kar 98K with scope. German precision engineering. The Germans didn't just grab infantry rifles and slap scopes on them. Well, sometimes they did, but their best sniper rifles were carefully selected. The Kar 98K formed the basis, but only rifles with exceptional accuracy were chosen for conversion. German snipers used various scopes, the Zeiss ZF-39, the Ajax 4x, and others. These scopes were optically superior to anything else in the war. I'm talking crystal clear glass, precise adjustments, and magnification up to 6 times. A German sniper could identify and engage targets that other nations' snipers couldn't even see clearly. The side-mounted scope configuration was distinctively German, offset to allow the use of iron sights. This actually gave German snipers more flexibility. The Mauser action was smooth, reliable, and the 7.92 by 57 mm Mauser cartridge delivered excellent accuracy at range. German sniper Matthias Hetzenauer recorded 345 confirmed kills with a scoped Kar 98K on the Eastern Front. That's not luck. That's a superbly accurate rifle in the hands of a trained marksman. But here's the problem. German over-engineering meant these rifles were expensive and time-consuming to produce. As the war progressed, quality control suffered, and late-war German sniper rifles weren't as good as the early ones. The Germans had precision, the Soviets had durability. But one nation combined both with something revolutionary, a rifle that would influence sniper design for the next 80 years. M1903A4, Springfield American accuracy. Let me tell you about American pragmatism. The Springfield M1903 was already an excellent rifle before the war. Accurate, reliable, well-made. To create a sniper variant, the U.S. simply removed the iron sights, added scope mounting blocks, and attached a Weaver 330 C-scope. Simple? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. The M1903A4 gave American snipers a rifle capable of consistent accuracy to 800 yards and beyond. That Weaver scope had 2.5 times magnification, less than German optics, but it was rugged and held zero even after rough handling. Marine Corps snipers in the Pacific used the M1903A4 to devastating effect against Japanese forces. In the dense jungles, long-range shooting was rare, but when opportunities arose, the Springfield delivered. The .30-06 cartridge had excellent stopping power and maintained accuracy at distance. What I love about this rifle is its reliability. American snipers knew that if they took care of their Springfield, it would never let them down. No fancy features, no complicated adjustments, just a well-made rifle that did its job every single time. But America had another sniper rifle that's often forgotten, and honestly, it might have been even better. M1C/M1D Garand, the semi-auto sniper. Here's where things get interesting. Most nations use bolt-action rifles for sniping because they were more accurate. America said, what if we took our semi-automatic Garand and made it a sniper rifle? The M1C and M1D variants mounted scopes to the Garand, giving snipers semi-automatic capability. Think about the tactical advantage. After taking your shot, you don't need to work a bolt. You can fire again immediately, or you can get down and move before enemy forces locate your position. The trade-off? Slightly less inherent accuracy than bolt actions, and that distinctive ping when the 8-round en-bloc clip ejected could give away your position. But in practical terms, the M1C/M1D gave American snipers a significant advantage in follow-up shots and self-defense situations. These variants weren't as widely used as the M1903A4, but snipers who got them appreciated the firepower. In fast-moving combat situations, particularly in the Pacific, that semi-automatic capability saved lives. While America was innovating with semi-autos, Britain was perfecting a rifle that many consider the finest sniper weapon of the entire war. Lee-Enfield No. 4, Mark 100T, the British masterpiece. Can we talk about this rifle for a moment? Because the Lee-Enfield No. 4, Mark 1T might be the most underrated sniper rifle of World War II. British rifle making has always been an art form, and this weapon proved it. The T stood for telescopic, and only the most accurate number. 4 rifles were selected for conversion. We're talking about rifles that could group shots within 1 inch at 100 yards. Exceptional accuracy. The number 32 scope had 3 times magnification and was mounted to maintain the rifle's balance perfectly. But here's what made British sniper rifles special. That smooth, fast Lee-Enfield bolt action. A trained sniper could work that bolt while keeping his cheek on the stock and his eye in the scope, allowing for incredibly fast follow-up shots. The 10-round magazine gave British snipers more shots before reloading than anyone else. British and Commonwealth snipers used this rifle across every theater: North Africa, Italy, Northwest Europe, Burma. The .303 British cartridge might not have been as powerful as the .3006 or 7.92 millimeter Mauser, but it was accurate and effective. This rifle combined precision, speed, and reliability in a way few others matched. Now, most major powers had excellent sniper rifles, but some nations had to make do with whatever they could get, and that's where things get complicated. Arisaka Type 97, Japan's sniper solution. The Japanese Type 97 sniper rifle tells a different story. Japan needed sniper rifles, but lacked the optical industry to mass-produce quality scopes. Their solution was the Type 97, based on the Type 38 rifle with a 2.5 times scope. Here's the brutal truth. Japanese scopes were inferior to Western optics. The glass quality wasn't as good, adjustments were less precise, and they fogged up in humid jungle conditions. Japanese snipers had to work harder to achieve what Western snipers did routinely. But don't underestimate Japanese snipers. They were masters of fieldcraft and patience. They'd tie themselves into trees for days, waiting for the perfect shot. American Marines learned to respect Japanese snipers in the Pacific, not because their rifles were great, but because the men using them were determined and skilled. The Type 97 fired the 6.5 millimeter cartridge, later 7.7 millimeter in some variants, which was relatively weak compared to other nations' sniper rounds. Effective range was limited to 400 to 500 yards realistically, but in jungle warfare, most engagements happened much closer anyway. Japan struggled with technology. Italy, they barely even tried. But one small nation created something special. Carcano M91/38, Italy's forgotten rifle. Italian sniper rifles don't get much attention, and honestly, that's somewhat fair. The Carcano M91/38 with scope wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. The 6.5mm Carcano cartridge lacked the power for long-range precision work, and Italian scopes were basic. Italian snipers operated primarily in North Africa and on the Eastern Front. Their rifles worked, but they were outclassed by every other major power's sniper weapons. The Carcano's accuracy was acceptable, but the weak cartridge meant less effective range and less impact on target. What's tragic is that Italian soldiers were often brave and capable. They just weren't equipped to compete with better supplied enemies. An Italian sniper facing a Soviet or German counterpart was at an immediate disadvantage based purely on equipment. Now here's where this story takes a fascinating turn. Because the best sniper in history didn't use a scoped rifle at all. Mosin-Nagant with iron sights, the ghost of Finland. Simo, the White Death, killed over 500 Soviet soldiers during the Winter War. His weapon? A standard Mosin-Nagant with iron sights. No scope. Let me explain why this matters. Believed scopes had disadvantages in Finnish winter conditions. They could fog, the lens could reflect sunlight and give away your position, and they raised your head higher above cover. So he used iron sights and got closer to his targets. His rifle was modified with a lower stock to fit his shooting style, and he knew that weapon intimately. The Finnish Mosin-Nagant was actually better made than Soviet versions, with tighter tolerances and better quality control. Combined with Finnish training and the unique conditions of winter warfare, Heha created the most lethal sniper record in history. This proves something crucial. The rifle matters, but the person behind it matters more. The best equipment in mediocre hands produces mediocre results. Basic equipment in expert hands can create legends. Speaking of legends, there's one more rifle we need to discuss. A specialized weapon that took sniping to a new level. Boy's anti-tank rifle, when sniping wasn't enough. Okay, technically this isn't a sniper rifle. The Boy's anti-tank rifle was designed to defeat light armor and vehicles with its massive .55 caliber cartridge. But some snipers used it for ultra-long-range shots or to engage targets behind cover. Firing this beast was brutal. The recoil could break collarbones. It weighed 36 pounds, making it nearly impossible to move quickly. But that huge bullet could engage targets at over 1,000 yards and could penetrate walls, trees, and light cover that would stop normal rifle rounds. The Boy's rifle represents the extreme end of World War II sniping, overkill for most situations, but devastatingly effective in specific circumstances. Some sniper teams carried one as a special-purpose weapon, using it to eliminate high-value targets when standard rifles weren't enough. So there you have it. Every significant sniper rifle of World War II. From the frozen forests of Finland to the burning streets of Stalingrad, from the jungles of the Pacific to the deserts of North Africa. These rifles shaped battles and decided the fates of thousands. But here's my question for you. If you had to grab one of these rifles and head into combat, which would you choose? The German precision? The Soviet reliability? The American semi-auto? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear your reasoning, and if you made it this far, you're clearly serious about military history. Hit that subscribe button because next week, I'm breaking down every World War II machine gun, and trust me, that video is going to be even more intense than this one. I'll see you there.